Oh, no.
Yeah.
And then assess from that point.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome here, everyone. And at this time, I'd like to give the opening to Councillor Bill Hiebert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's hard to believe April is halfway gone and there's only 2 weeks left to file personal income tax. Tax filing is an important event required by Canada Revenue Service before April 30th. And if by chance you have a refund coming, you want to get it done as soon as possible. This leads me to an article on Steinbach Online done by Shannon Dewick, used by permission. Steinbach, most generous city in Canada. According to recent data from Statistics Canada, Southern Manitoba trends well above average when it comes to charitable giving. In Canada as a whole, the average tax filer donates $380 towards charity. And in Manitoba, this number is considerably higher. It's $590. But when you consider southeastern Manitoba, the top 4 communities are as follows. Bloomenort, an average of $3,780. Kleefeld at $2,320, and Steinbach at $2,240, followed by Grunthal at $1,990. Steinbach being the most generous city in all of Canada, with a population of 10,000 or higher. According to one article, Steinbach residents donated 4.31% of their income to charity, and that is a full percent higher than the city next to them. Giving is a key component to the success of our community. People in Steinbach are very generous in giving time, with volunteering plus giving their money to many of our charities. I'm reminded of key projects that would not have happened if it wasn't for local fundraising, both by businesses and private. Our Rest Haven nursing home is serving our seniors in a tremendous way, and that wouldn't have happened with fundraising. The much anticipated event center, which is in progress, and also the Bethesda Hospital expansion with the new surgery theaters, kidney dialysis, and other facilities as well. Some real benefits for being generous. Top 5, according to a survey done by Harvard Business School. Giving makes us feel happy. Giving has been linked to the release of oxytocin, a hormone that includes feelings of warmth, euphoria, and connection to others. Number 2, giving is good for our health. Research shows that seniors who volunteered at 2 or more organizations were 44% less likely to die over a 5-year period. Number 3 is giving promotes cooperation and social connection. When we give to others, we don't only make them feel closer to us, we also feel closer to them. Being kind and generous leads you to perceive others positively. Number 4 is giving evokes gratitude. Whether you're in the giving or receiving end of a gift, that gift can elicit feelings of gratitude. Number 5 is giving is contagious. When giving, we don't only help the recipient with their gift, but also spur on a ripple effect of giving in our community. So let's continue giving cheerfully. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hiebert. Council, we have the agenda in front of us, looking for a motion to adopt. Councillor Siemens, second by Councillor Schweitzer. Any comments? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Council, we have the minutes of April 2nd, 2024, the regular council meeting. Starting on page 1, we've all had a chance to review. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Hiebert, second by Councillor Penner. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. It is just before 7:35, so we'll go down to number 9, administration. 9A, accounts payable, at the back of the book. We've all had a chance to review. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Hiebert, second by Councillor Penner. Any comment?
No comments.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We're still a little bit before, so we'll continue down. 9B, we've got the building permits, page 108. Looks like February was a very good month. Council looking for a motion to approve building permits. Councillor Swaistra, second by Councillor Hiebert. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, you're correct. February was a busy month, particularly in regards to residential development, and one in particular, multiple dwelling unit that's being built is quite significant in size, and so definitely a lot of new residential development, and that's good to see within the city because obviously we do need more housing, and so we're looking forward to the permit numbers continuing to be strong this year.
Okay, thank you. Anything further? Anything, Council? Anything closing?
No.
Yes, Council, very, very great start to the year. We're at almost $19 million, just a little bit under $19 million. This current month, we've been able to add 6 single-family units and 37 multifamily units. So that brings our total dwelling units for this year up to 43. So that's been significant addition to the family, the living units that have been built in our city. Again, very strong start for the year, for the first quarter. Looking forward to more. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We are at 7:35, so we will go back up to number 6, the public hearing. This is 6A, Subdivision 4451-2024-8941. It's referring to Kootenay Way, Phase 2B. At this time, I will close the council meeting and the public hearing. Mr. Workstein, could you please introduce this file?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This subdivision file, number 4451-2024-8941, is being applied for by Chris McLeod. The owner of the property is Sinceris Park Hill GP Ltd. Purpose of the subdivision application public hearing is to subdivide 5 existing titled lots into 22 lots. Also extend the existing road known as Kootenay Way and the creation of a public reserve as part of a multi-phase residential development. Notices, as are required under the Planning Act, have been issued. There is one item of written correspondence on file from Community Planning, and commenting on behalf of the province indicates that there are no concerns with the proposed subdivision. With respect to this development, the subject land is designated as residential under the city's official community plan. Recommendation from administration is for council to approve the application for subdivision, subject to bylaw 2236 being given third reading, a portion of the public reserve to be closed, and also the prior execution of a development agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Workstein. I see the applicant is here today. Do you wish to speak? No? Okay. Then I will ask if there's anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file. I will ask again if there's anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file. Seeing none, I will ask one more time. Is there anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file? Seeing none, I will close the council meeting, or the public hearing, open the council meeting. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Swaistra?
Thank you, Mr. Earl. I'll make the motion to approve the subdivision.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Siemens, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's exciting to see the development that continues to happen in our city. And so the purpose of the subdivision here, as explained, is to subdivide 5 larger existing titles into 22 lots. This will obviously allow for a mix of 2-family and multifamily zoning is within the subdivision. And so we're looking forward to seeing the development proceed. So we should, I think we should approve this.
Thank you. Anything further?
Nothing further.
Anything further of council? I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And we'll move on to 6B. This is Rezoning By-Law 2236, also referring to Kootenay Way on page 85 in our packet. I will at this time close the council meeting, open the public hearing. Mr. Workington, could you please introduce this file?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The rezoning bylaw number 2236 and application is connected to the previous file. This is part of a multi-phase residential development just north of Mackenzie Avenue in Steinbach. The owner of the property is Sinceris Park Hill GP Ltd. With the applicant for bylaw 2236 being Albert Rempel. Purpose of the bylaw is to rezone Lot 3, Plan 69059 from RLD residential low density to RMD residential medium density. The purpose of the rezoning is to permit these properties to be developed for multifamily purposes. This particular bylaw application has been amended with respect to the property. The original parcel that was previously advertised has been reduced in size, and related to the subdivision, part of the existing area will remain as RLD residential low density. For all other intents and purposes, the plan of rezoning remains the same. With respect to this file, correspondence has been received from community planning, which indicates no concerns from the province. The recommendation from administration is for council to give bylaw 2236 both second and third readings, subject to evidence that may be presented at the hearing and also subject to a development agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Orkney. Applicant is here. You do not wish to speak at this time? Okay. Okay, then I will ask, is there anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file? I will ask one more time. This will be my last time I ask this. Is there anyone here with comments, questions, or objections to this file? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing, open the council meeting. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Pinner?
Motion to approve.
Second by Councillor Pinner. Go ahead, Councillor Pinner.
Thank you. Anytime there's a major development going on, it's quite common for a developer to need to make some adjustments to the plans. So this probably won't even be the first we see or the last we see from this area. So I think it makes sense for us to approve this. Developers often work supply demand, what works best on the land. So yeah, I think it's really good to see. We always like more density, so to have it, to change it to RMD makes sense to me.
Thank you. Anything further?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, when this plan first came to council, that would have been probably, I don't know, about 2 years ago. So supply changes, demand changes, as Councillor Penner indicated, and it's good to see that developers are adjusting for that as well to come and have desirable properties in our city.
Thank you. Anything further of council? Anything closing? Yes, council, that is right. As a developer develops, they plan out the site plan, they have it all figured out, and then halfway through development, all of a sudden, there's a great need for RMD in our community, like there is right now, and they're able to adjust and rezone, and that's what we're doing here today. It's actually very nice that we can be flexible like that and move to the market and what is needed in our community. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We'll go right into third reading. Motion for third reading. Councillor Hiebert, second by Councillor Schweikstra. Any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Further to the comments that have already been given, it's nice to see the construction going in that area. And as we see here again, the developer is rezoning it to something that is market-driven, something that he'll be able to sell. So I think it's a good fit for that area. It's newly being developed, so it's a good plan.
Thank you. Anything further, Councillor?
Councillor Hiebert convinced me, I'm good.
Anything further of council? Anything in closing, Councillor Hiebert?
Nothing further.
Call for the question. All those in favor of third reading? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, council, we'll move to reports and recommendations from city manager. This is 8A, the event center update. I will hand this over to administration.
And I will hand it over to the city's corporate services manager.
All right, yes, so we have a bit of an update to share with council since we last went over it in December. I'll be going through just some of the major components of the building and how things have been going and what we can expect to see in the next few months. So structure and framing, that's kind of one of the bigger things we've seen in the last few months. You can see in January there, we had our first set of steel trusses go up. And then now in March, we can see they're almost all up for the arena area, except for the last set, which will likely be done in the next couple weeks, actually. And then even the concrete risers and the deck here, that'll be done by the end of April as well. So for this component of the building, the next thing we're going to see, it's probably the most exciting thing in the next quarter, will be actually the vertical steel and roofing structures for the atrium and the gym area. So that's all going to take shape shortly here. So here are a little shot of the dressing rooms over the winter. So this is one of the components that's been worked on over the last few months. You can see a little bit of a sneak preview here of some of the change rooms. I believe that will be off the gym there, the shower area as well. Plumbing and electrical work. They've actually got the rough-in done for all the change rooms and washrooms on the north and east sides there. So that's carrying on as the project goes. As soon as they're able, then the next trade is in there and working on it. A little bit of a shot of our new ice plant condensers. So one of the things that Paul and his team have done is they've purchased a lot of the materials so that we locked in our pricing. So some of this stuff is starting to land on site. The old ice plant's now been decommissioned, and the new room for all that's actually going to be starting later this week. The concrete will be going in. A little bit of a look inside of, so this was last month now, where the hoarding structure had been put together to keep the concrete warm enough while it's settled and solidified for the lobby floor. If you look at this, I'll have some pictures later where you can see it's done now, but it's kind of neat to see that. And here's sort of a before and after. You can see back in December we had mostly just the concrete masonry units set up in the arena area. Starting to see the bleachers, but now you can see we're about 85% down all of that, similar to the rafters. This will be done at the end of April as well. It's all taking shape. The actual ice surface floor, there's still a lot of work to do there with concrete and whatnot, but it's all moving along. The roof is even, about half done for sealing it. Keeping the water out as they start to put in the electrical and mechanical. Exterior and weather proofing and sheeting. So you can see they're taking along right there. I believe this will be one of the emergency exits here, and then there'll be some windows as it goes along. You'll be able to pick that out a little bit clearer. But yeah, actually, even today, if you look, you can start to see the insulation and strapping on that going up. So the final metal sheeting should be going up in the next month or two as well. Taking a look at progress billings, we're up to 32.1 million so far. It's about 46.5% of the total project cost. And yeah, I mean, if you look at it now, it doesn't look like 46.5% of the building, but a lot of the reason for that is because we've pre-purchased a lot of the materials to lock in pricing before inflation does its work. The construction company, Graham Construction, they've got a drone. They're taking photos every once in a while So it's kind of neat to just see, you know, back in December, we had pretty bare site, and now this was in April, so you can see the atrium floors down there. This will be the gym, the walking corridor, and then the play area will be back here. And okay, this is a high resolution video that I don't know if our vintage Dell laptop will run smoothly, but we'll give it a shot. And while it's trying to do that, did council have any questions about how things are going so far? It might be kind of choppy there. Sorry.
Are we on track for construction?
We are doing very well, but I don't know that I would say that, I don't know if I could give a date just now. Yeah, we had a great winter. We're not far behind, certainly, but certainly still shooting for fall or maybe early winter is kind of where they're at now. But yeah, the big exciting thing we're going to see soon is it's going to be the sheeting coming up on the arena area, and then and really starting to see the structure of the gym and the atrium, and then you'll really get a feel for what the final building's going to look like. So, yeah.
Well, this is not a question, it's more of a comment.
Sure.
Last week at AMM, what I would advise, that once we get it open the first month, have a lot of tour dates, because just what everybody I talk to at AMM, just what every municipality wants to come through and see it. So
Yeah.
there's lots of interest. Like, this is not just creating buzz in our community, it's creating buzz in our province.
Oh yeah. No, it's actually trend setting for a community our size. Great.
This, I believe this is an event center that will be known throughout our province.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, 5B, this is the traffic count report. This is referring to Loewen Boulevard and Hespeler. Earlier, council had given administration the task of doing a traffic study on it. It is done now, and the information is here. I will give this over to administration to summarize the information to us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And depending on how good of a sell job you've made to Steinbach's neighboring councils, if they are also willing to bring donations, we would gladly accept them.
And nobody said that, but they didn't even say they'd pay for the tour. I think they want it for free.
Thank you. Getting to the task at hand, the traffic count report, as you mentioned, that has recently been completed for the corner of Loewen Boulevard and Hespeler Street in Steinbach, was undertaken by administration, as you mentioned, at the request of council. And in addition to the annual fall traffic count and analysis that the city normally undertakes, a specific additional component was undertaken at this intersection. The traffic counts at this corner were done for several years, beginning in 2019. Given that there hadn't been significant change over our 3-year period, those counts were suspended. However, there appear to be periodic concerns expressed to members of council from residents of Steinbach, which prompted council's request for administration to review this corner again. With respect to that review, generally traffic flows and the level of service at this intersection are very well understood. As I mentioned, City of Steinbach retained WSP Canada Group Limited to provide the traffic analysis. Generally, the results from that count did show that there is a fairly even distribution of traffic between the 3 legs that meet at that intersection. I won't read the entirety of the report. There are details in there, both from the city's engineer and also from WSP, the city's consultants. But I would direct council to the general summary and final conclusions towards the bottom of page 3 of the report from the city's engineer. And based on WSP's assessment of the intersections, or of the intersection, no improvements are considered required, given the northbound Hespeler's level of service of E, which from a standard analysis that the city uses when it evaluates intersections across Steinbach is acceptable. However, it goes on to say the results did show that it would improve the overall level of service for the intersection during the PM peak hour scenario at the cost of longer delays for the Loewen Boulevard westbound and eastbound traffic if changes were made. This, however, would also expect that at all other times of the day, since that traffic along Loewen Boulevard would no longer be free-flowing, ultimately the level of service for that through traffic as it exists today would be negatively affected. Generally, from the city's engineer, in conclusion, the city should collect more data to fully understand the cause and of the delays before making a change to this intersection, since an all-way stop controlled intersection could result in some unintended consequences for the Loewen Boulevard traffic. Given the inconclusiveness of the analysis and that this intersection will need to become an all-way stop controlled intersection at the time that the city initiates the PTH 12 and Loewen Boulevard project, which is a mile further to the west. That's something that that administration is considering, just because of the degree of traffic disruption that is expected from that ultimate detour that would be required during that project. So in other words, what is being recommended is that while no permanent change to that intersection is being recommended at this time, especially pursuant to further consideration of a traffic roundabout that may be designed in the future, there is perhaps an opportunity to consider an all-way stop in the event that the city does proceed with the PTH 12 and Loewen Boulevard intersection improvements at some point in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Wardney. Yes, I would agree that during the construction of the Loewen Boulevard number 12 intersection, I think that it would make sense to put a three-way stop there, because that will increase, because it's going to reduce the ways to go north by one, so that gives us 2 ways to go north, industrial or Old Tom, and I think it'll put a lot of stress on that corner. So I think that makes sense at that time. Yes, looking forward to a long-term plan of the roundabout one day. I think we should probably be planning for more roundabouts in our community as we do, and as we develop our community, to have the roundabout in already. We do have a roundabout. It's working very, very well, and would like to see that more often. But at this time, I'm comfortable with this, even though it does, at times, it does cause some drivers delays, but I think we should take it one step at a time, and we'll do the three-way stop during the. It might be a good idea to do that during the road construction, and then look at it again from there after the road construction is done. That might take a lot of traffic away from that corner as well. Council, any comments? Okay, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion that we put up a three-way stop.
I would second that motion.
I would also support it.
So we have a mover and a seconder. Okay. I guess now speak to it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I made this request for a three-way stop at this intersection. I think I did it twice in my term on council. I think the information that was collected by WSP, and it also says it in the engineer's report that more data is needed to be collected. And I'm not a traffic engineer by any stretch, but I also use that intersection, and I get a lot of different comments on it from people that do read that, use that intersection. I appreciate the report. It's very comprehensive. It provides us with a lot of details, but not all the details. The conclusion in both cases is that there's more data needs to be collected before final decision, and both reports indicate a traffic circle will solve the issue as well, and I certainly agree with that because a traffic circle would solve those issues at that intersection. Both reports mention the one thing, hesitant drivers, the one thing we can't control at council, and the drivers wanting to make a left-hand turn that's hesitant off of Hespeler onto Loewen Boulevard. In my opinion, it is a top reason we need to move forward with the three-corner stop. Pedestrian traffic is mentioned in the report, but it is not told us how it is affected by this intersection. For the last 20-plus years, council has promoted active transportation in some form. We put up maps indicating different walking and bike paths. We paint churro signs on our roadways to remind us, both cyclists and motorists, where to travel and install our share the road signs. This intersection is part of an active transportation route. A bike lane has been identified by paintings on the road, both on Hespeler and Loewen, both going, each way. A cyclist going north on Hespeler, like I was doing last Friday afternoon at 2:45, and I forgot to turn earlier. I wanted to avoid that intersection, but I got there. I wanted to make a left-hand turn onto Loewen. That's a very exciting and scary time during many parts of the day, but the cyclist needs to be aware of traffic going from east to west, also right-hand turning traffic that's going from Hespeler onto Loewen Boulevard. Loewen Boulevard is a correction mile road, hence the offset. Traveling anywhere in Loewen in any direction, the intersections are offset. In the late 1980s, Steinbach Council put up a three-corner stop at Henry and Loewen. The reasons were to slow down speeding traffic, but more so to allow the pedestrians to cross safely when the new pathway was built going north. There are many moving pieces to this corner. No stop flow, by not stopping the east-west flow traffic on Loewen Boulevard. It's a major pedestrian crossing, bicycle crossing, and turning movements. Hesitant drivers and motorists not indicating what action they are taking by not using their turn signals in a timely manner. Another thing that we can only complain about it. The report indicates that this intersection will be a full all-way stop for 2 years during construction of Loewen and number 12. That makes sense. We've talked about that. Hopefully, that project will start later this year. It is my opinion that we should move forward with making this a three-way stop for all the reasons mentioned above. While it will slow down traffic going east and west on Loewen, it will make it safer for pedestrians and cyclists and move traffic more effectively during peak times. Since it will be changing a three-way stop from when construction starts on Loewen and 12, we can move that timeline forward a few months and have those stop signs in place. But the most exciting thing is that both reports said that a roundabout would fix this intersection.
Thank you. Anything further?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Further to what Councillor Seaman said, and yes, I do agree with what has just been presented. If we go to page 3 on the report, second last paragraph, it talks about the intersection at Brant, or number 12, and Loewen, when that construction starts. And it says, this detour would be required for a minimum of 2-year period. If the intersection were to ultimately change to an all-stop control, the change could be made at this time after further analysis and would be seen as less controversial. I don't agree with that. We need further study, further analysis. I think there's been enough complaints and I think enough observations made of this intersection that it would definitely benefit. I don't think it's a controversial issue that we're trying to avoid. I think it's a necessity to put in the stop signs at all the three-way stop. So I think that's necessary, and I too have advocated for it in the past, and I continue to advocate for it.
Thank you. Councillor Schweitzer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a very interesting discussion. I'm not sure why we bothered to get this traffic analysis, because it sounds like members of council have got their own analysis ready to go. I have some concerns with the motion. I'm going to be voting against it. The reason that we hire experts to do this kind of analysis using standards and in evaluating the overall situation is so that we don't end up with the law of unintended consequences. We don't want to have a situation where we're just adding stop signs because we feel that that is the best approach to go. So what's been identified here is that there's obviously some challenges with this intersection, and when the Loewen Boulevard and Highway 12 construction begins, at that point, as it says here, at that point, because there'll be all this additional traffic, we will have to, for that time period, make it an all-way stop, which makes sense. So then let's do it at that time, because that is when the experts that we've hired, that's our staff and also our consultants who have actually analyzed this intersection, have said is the best time to do it. It's important to note here that our report says, identifies that an all-way stop-controlled intersection could result in unintended consequences for Loewen Boulevard traffic. So we see a problem and we immediately think that we've got a solution. So we need to be careful here because there's a longer-term picture that we need to take. And I don't see why we got this report, why we had this analysis done, going through, some of the different options here, pointing out that there needs to be a longer-term picture here, and then we've got a motion that, yeah, no, never mind what's in here, we're just going to go ahead and do it because we've already got our analysis and we've just identified that needs to be solved. We don't know. We want that Loewen Boulevard intersection to go ahead this year. We're still waiting on certain things to be confirmed, so we don't want to just rush ahead with changing the stop signs here prior to that going ahead. So let's actually trust our staff and our experts and the analysis that we have, and let's not just go start making up our own decisions all of a sudden that we're going to just decide, yeah, we know better here. So we need to proceed carefully. So I'm going to vote against the motion.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you. I personally, I'm voting for it because I've had the experience of sitting at that corner with Heston and drivers ahead of myself. I timed out 5 minutes last summer with a Heston driver sitting at the stop sign and didn't make a left turn. Then it's the left turn that's the main issue. And it's very frustrating. There were probably 15 cars behind me. So it is, I think it's a fairly serious issue. And also, traffic speeds up at that point and it would slow down traffic as well. So I think that would be beneficial as well.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also will not be supporting the motion. There was no place in the report from the experts that we commissioned to do this, that was the recommendation going forward. The recommendation was to get more information, and prime way of getting that information is going to be with how the construction is going to be affected, how the construction is going to be affecting there, and then us putting in an all-way stop. And that's a great time for us to be able to get the information of what we need to do with that intersection going forward. I'm not going to deny that there is challenges with that intersection, but we are not the traffic experts, and we don't know what challenges are going to be increased or new challenges are going to be coming up by doing an all-way stop there. So I have a saying, and that is let the plumbers plumb, and I'm going to let the experts and the traffic experts tell us what to do on this one.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Penner.
I will be voting against the motion as well. There's a saying that says, hard cases make bad laws, and I think to a certain degree that applies here. We're hearing from, one-off personal situations. One time, Councillor Hiebert had to sit for 5 minutes, and maybe one time this experience happened to Councillor Siemens or the other Councillor Hiebert. The point of the study is that we get a broad picture of what's going on. We can't base it on our one-off personal experiences, because then we're going to make very poor decisions, not just with this, but with other things. The reality is there's rush hour times in every community and city. We see rush hour on the number 12 highway, and we see rush hour on this street when school lets out. That's the reality of living in a big community, in a big city. So I don't think we should change, particularly based on what the report says. We should now go and make these changes based on, there's a peak time where it takes 5 minutes to get through there, when the other 23 plus hours of the day or whatever it is, it's not really that significant of an issue. I would have serious concerns how this would affect the Loewen Boulevard east-west traffic. Does that make sense? East-west.
Yes.
And so I would think that would certainly slow down traffic and have a negative impact there. You know, this is on the radar. We're going to see how it works when we have to have the three-way stop there. So I don't know why we would jump the gun on this at this point when we don't need to. So I will not be supporting the motion.
Anything in closing?
Yes. The words unintended consequences, I use that often myself. When we make decisions, I've used it often at council trying to understand. We don't know what the unintended consequences are here. I do know that there's a problem at that place for pedestrians to cross, for cyclists to be part of that corner. I do know there's lots of hesitant drivers. Yes, I'm not an engineer, traffic engineer, but I know how people behave at that corner, and that I know that corner doesn't function properly many times during the day. So for all those reasons, as mentioned here, I think it is important for me to state the case here. And I was the one who has been promoting a roundabout in the first place, and we had that opportunity 2 years ago when we had the corner ripped apart. I also now think the second best option is to put a three-corner stop, and the third option is to do nothing. And to do nothing, I think, would fail that corner.
Thank you. Council, I enjoy hearing the discussion back and forth. I really like this. I too will vote against the motion. I have apprehensions in changing the corner for 24 hours when it's just a half hour to 45-minute problem. I use that corner a lot. I never, ever I don't avoid that corner. And I've experienced delays, maybe 3 minutes, but I've never experienced the delays you guys have experienced. And I have been 10th, 15th car on Hespeler. Maybe my day I'm there just works out better, but I think that if we go change this before we have more information or before we're ready for it to be the detour, I think we circumvent what we've done here. And I think the best plan is probably to keep working and get the roundabout in our long-term capital plan and get that project done. And then that intersection will be fixed forever, and traffic will always flow. Because roundabouts are really the best thing for traffic flow. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is defeated. Can you, I have to excuse myself for just a minute.
Okay, Council, we will head to Administration 9C, Business Licenses. That is on page 109. And can I get a motion to approve the business license? Councillor Susan Penner, seconded by Councillor Damien Penner. Any discussion?
No discussion.
Anything from Councillor Penner? No, sir. Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We head to 9D, Bylaw 2243, Tax Certificate Fee Bylaw, first reading. Mr. Workington, can you introduce this one, please?
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. This bylaw number 2243 is a bylaw to update the city's tax certificate fee amounts that are charged to the public. The current tax certificate fee bylaw number 1820 has been in place since 2007, which is 17 years. And because tax certificate fees are set by bylaw, the city generally does not amend that bylaw fairly often. However, it was actually surprising to realize how long it has actually been in place. And because that is noted within the Municipal Act that this particular fee is set by bylaw, recommendation from administration is that council give this bylaw first reading so that the current tax fee certificate or tax certificate fee amount can be updated.
Okay, thank you. Council, can I get a motion, please? Councillor Siemens, seconded by, sorry, go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, seconded by Councillor Susan Penner. Councillor Siemens, go ahead.
As explained by administration, this is a fee charged for tax certificates. I don't know all the details around it, but I believe administration has guided us.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Penner, do you wish to add anything
I don't know what I can
to
add
that clear
to
explanation?
I don't know what I can possibly add to that. This is first reading, so we'll be seeing this again.
Okay. Anything further from council? Anything in closing, Councillor Siemens?
I think that was quite enough.
Well, council, I will vote in favor as well. I mean, our city staff, our city manager has made it clear that this is a matter of updating a previous bylaw, and fees do rise over time, and part of the goal here is to ensure that we are recovering our costs and that our rates are comparable with neighboring municipalities. So I don't have any problem with this change either. So I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We go to 9E, Bylaw 2247. That's the 2024 Realty and Education Tax Levy By-Law, our budget. Mr. Workington, do you want to introduce this one too?
Yes, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Bylaw 2247 is the bylaw to authorize the city's 2024 realty and education taxes for the city of Steinbach. The city's mill rate will be set at a total of 14.4 mills for 2024. Recommendation is that council give bylaw 2247 first reading.
Okay. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Hiebert, seconded by Councillor Bill Hiebert. So Councillor Hiebert, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. What we have here is an application by administration. They've done their work, and it's come to us that the 2024 Realty and Education Tax Levy has been set per mill rate, and the mill rate is 14.4 mills. That is what we require to pay this administration fee, this fee for the Hanover School Division levy, which is increased, and the mill rate was set for them for 7.54, while the provincial levy has increased 4.8 mill rate. So it's obviously what we require to make ends meet. So this is first reading, and so I approve of it.
Okay. Councillor Hiebert.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I believe taxes need to be collected, so this is a good move.
Okay. Anything further from council? Anything in closing?
Nothing further.
Okay. Well, council, this is our budget. As we do every year, we first pass it in principle at the first meeting in April, and then our staff formalizes it into a bylaw. And this, of course, is the bylaw here with all the numbers in, including the information from the school division. And so, since we all unanimously approved the budget that we set, it certainly would make sense for us to also approve the bylaw that comes out from that budget. So I will obviously be voting in favor. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We now go to 9F, Bylaw 2248, the Business Tax Levy Bylaw. Mr. Workington, can you introduce this one, please?
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. This particular bylaw, number 2248, is the annual business tax levy bylaw to authorize the city to levy and collect business taxes for business property within the city of Steinbach. The business tax levy rate for 2024 is 0.5%, and this rate remains unchanged from the previous year. Recommendation for council to give this bylaw first reading.
Okay, thank you. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Susan Penner?
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve, seconded by Councillor Bill Hiebert. Councillor Penner, go ahead.
Yeah, this tax is basically an in and out for the city. We collect the tax and then we turn it over to the Chamber of Commerce. I think what's interesting and important to note is because it's based on a percentage, the amount they're collecting increases as the city grows and as our assessment goes up. So, and it's also important to note that the business community seemingly supports this tax and this arrangement that this money goes to fund the Chamber of Commerce. So for those reasons, or for that reason, I will approve or make the motion here.
Thank you. Councillor Hiebert.
No further comment.
Okay. Anything further from council? Anything in closing?
Nothing further.
Well, council, the business tax rate has remained set at 0.5% for many years now, and this is a longstanding arrangement that the city remits this amount minus a small administration fee to the Chamber of Commerce for their operating funds, and so this is something that's been in place for quite some time. So I will vote in favor of first reading as well. So I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Council, question.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Okay, number 10, council question period. Any questions of council? Okay, seeing none. We've got one item of correspondence. This is the Minister of Municipality and Northern Relations and Minister of Indigenous and Economic Development. This is the summary of the budget, the 2024 budget, for the available funding to municipalities. And we've all had a chance to review. Council, how would you like to proceed? Take his information at this time? There's no other business. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Susan Penner, second by Councillor Siemens. Call for the question. All's in favor? That is carried. Next regular council meeting is Tuesday, May 7th, 2024.